Eminence. Go throw them knees up in the air.
Nine, 8, 7. We have a go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack up. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack up. Rushing like a bullet into the end zone. Defense, hold up, no scoring in the red zone. Throw it up, pick 6, I feel like I'm Josh Rowe. Throwing downs over the shoulder, think I'm Jack Winmo. I need me back to back, trying to be like Vulture. Cause a storm, cause I'm mighty, it's in the culture. Esports TV, YouTube, Twitch, SFL Live, tuning you don't wanna miss. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack up. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack them. Next level like my entertainment. NXT on a stream, 8 p.m. on a beat. Catch me on a cam like I'm SFL commish. Yeah, you only got one chance, you can never miss. For the glory, revolution, feel my fury. Cause I'm a legend out in Canton, and I'm playing with dragons. I'm the king of this legion. SFL action, tuning this season. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action on a big screen. I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown.
What is up, SFL Nation? Welcome back to SFL Nights with A.J.Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decide to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. Really appreciate it, y'all. And look who I have here with me. Oh my gosh. Of course, I have my good friend, Mr. Nathaniel Diggs, aka Diggy. How you doing?
Good. Glad to be back again.
Of course, glad to have you. And my other good friend, Mr. Jordan Sykes, quarterback for Jacksonville. How you doing?
Good.
Did I ever give you a nickname?
No, you can call me MVP though, because I mean, it's where I'm going this year.
Oh, okay. Cool. MVP. All right. Uh-oh.
No, because if you call me that, I'll never get MVP.
I can see the wheels turning in Diggy's head right now. He looked like he was getting ready to say
No. You can't give yourself a nickname. AJ gotta get it. So I'm sure you'll come up with something good.
I will, and it'll be for the next show. Definitely. Well, welcome back, y'all. We have a fantastic show that we're going to be having today. We're going to go over week 8, and there were some great games that happened. You're going to hear the scores. We're going to break down a couple of those games too, a piece, and then picks for week 9. And I'm also going to go over the current standings for each division. So just kind of get a recap on that. And then my hot topic question for the week will be, who should make the decisions on who goes into the All-Star game? Should it be a combination? Should it just be the league as it is currently? Should it be a combination of the league and coaches, maybe scouts as well? Or should it be a community vote-in like everything else? So we're going to tackle that in a minute. 4th and Goal interview will include Mr. Ramos Lynn. He is the owner for Mexico City Aztecs. Then I have Pauly Truth from the Seattle Nemesis. So it's going to be a great show. Looking forward to bringing it to you. So let's slide right into everything. So on August the 27th, the Mexico City Aztecs took on the Las Vegas Fury, where Mexico City won 28-14. London took on Vancouver Legion, and they won their game 35-30. It's still remaining undefeated. Portland Fleet took on the Canton Classics, where Canton won 30-24. Louisiana Revolution took on Fort Worth Toros, and Fort Worth won 30-27. Sioux Falls Sparrows took on the Baltimore Vultures, where the Vultures came out victorious 31-21. Carolina Skyhawks took on the Tulsa Desperados, and Tulsa won 34-31. Lone Star Glory took on the Arizona Scorpions, where Arizona won 41-24. Jacksonville Kings battled the Denver Night Wings, and Denver was victorious 31-26. Houston Headhunters on the 20. I'm sorry. So I meant to actually have the dates up, but I actually have them going across the screen so y'all will see that. The Houston Headhunters took on the Florida Storm, and Houston won 34-31. Atlanta took on the San Diego Mavericks, where San Diego won in a nail biter, 49-46. Indianapolis Ramblers took on the DC Dragons, where DC won 30-27. And finally, the Motor City V8s took on the Los Angeles Lakers, where Los Angeles won 29-16. So, with all of that being said, we have the current standings. In the Pacific Division, we'll have leading Vancouver Legion 4-3, followed by the Los Angeles Lakers at 2-4, Portland Fleet at 2-5, and the Seattle Nemesis is still looking for their first win, sitting at 0-6. 0-6. In the West, Arizona is now leading 5-2. Las Vegas Fury followed close behind at 4-3. Denver is at 3-4. San Diego Mavericks are sitting at 2-4. On the South Division, Mexico City Aztecs is leading 6-1, 6 games to 1. Houston Headhunters followed shortly thereafter at 4-2. The Fort Worth Toros is sitting at 4-3, and the Lone Star Glory is at 3-4. In the North Division, London Knights are leading, of course. They are undefeated, 7-0, followed by Canton Classics at 3-4, Queen City Corsairs at 2-4, and Motor City at 2-4 as well. In the East Division, Florida is 3-3, followed by Atlanta at 3-3, Louisiana at 2-5, and Jacksonville is at 1-6. The Atlantic Division includes Baltimore being in the lead, also undefeated, 7-0. DC Dragons, 5-1. Carolina Skyhawks, 3-4. And Charleston Predators at 2-4. And lastly, in the Central Division, the Tulsa Desperados is leading 5-2, followed by the Minnesota Legends, 3-3. Sioux Falls Sparrows, 3-4. And the Indianapolis Ramblers at 2-4. So, gentlemen, I'm going to start with you first, Jordan, since you're fresh back. I want to know what your thoughts are on your game and even the game that you chose.
Yeah, so for the Kings, we came out strong, and that's been something that we have done very well, and it seems like we'll stay in it. And then we just a couple risky passes late in the game, and it seems to always land in the hands of the opponent. So, and by that time, it's hard to get the running back involved if we're down. So, just a lot of, we need to keep the momentum up, and our game plan seems to be doing very well throughout the weeks. Just, typically problems at quarterback will lead you to, not be in games as much. But for our defense is also doing very well. A couple big plays here and there, but their running game last week, every time we needed to stop them, it was like 3rd and 1, 3rd and inches, something like that. And it seemed to always be 3rd and short, and they would run for probably 10, 15 yards on that. It was just a real crusher, especially late in the game. So, overall, I think it was a bright look for us, knowing that we can be in the contests early. But, great job by them and their coaching staff to put a great game plan against us.
Indeed. And then the other game we chose was
Mexico City and Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I actually had Las Vegas. I said they were going to win this. They were on just a great hot streak. And it turns out when they needed the most, Joseph Green didn't get it done. And the thing, as soon as, when the first quarter ended, you saw that it was just a passing game. Matt Wilson, Joseph Green just really went at it. And by the end of that, both teams were trying to defend just the pass. So they started running more, and it was a really close game. But Las Vegas, and as great as Mexico City is, Las Vegas lost the game themselves, I would say, more than, Mexico City, overcame them. They had Joseph Green could have easily ran in the fourth quarter for a touchdown. Didn't do that, and they came away with no points. On defense, they tipped the ball twice on one of the passes, and it ended up being caught by one of Mexico City's wide receivers. So overall, it was a great game to watch, and it really felt like it was coming down probably late fourth quarters when you were like, they probably can't, come back. But it was a great game, and awesome to see Matt Wilson, still doing what he's doing.
Indeed. Diggy.
I did Florida and Houston, and I had picked Florida with you. I think we both picked Florida last week no, it wasn't. No, it was I picked Houston, you picked Florida. I went against you. But it was a fun game. It was probably the second best game to watch for the week. It was 7-7 till midway through the second, and Florida kicked it into high gear, going up 21-10. And Houston would answer right back with them, and got it, 17-21 at the half, and then I think it was like 24-17 in the fourth, and Houston found something that worked and really started moving down the field and set up GP Welsh for a touchdown to tie the game. And they eventually got ahead 31-24 on their next drive, and Florida ended up coming back and knotting it up with 40 seconds left. So then it goes into overtime, and Houston pulled it out with a field goal. But it was an awesome game. I've been a big GP Wells guy for a little bit. I think he's a great running back, and I think it's worked extremely well for him for his move to go to Houston. So props to him on that. The second game I did was the Atlanta and Mavericks game. And for as exciting as this one was, the ending cost me a clean sweep in my predictions. So it was fun to watch, but it kind of hurt me a little bit right here. But it's okay. No, the Mavericks played well, getting up early, getting an interception, and just like the Florida game, it was pure entertainment pretty much the whole time. Atlanta came back to take the lead 20-17 at the half, and the second half started out just like I had hoped for. The excitement rolling over and continuing into the second half. We see a lot of these games in the SFL where the second half one of the teams kind of fall off, but this wasn't one of those games. Atlanta responds with their own touchdown from Dynasty, and that trend just continued the rest of the game. They would score, and then Atlanta would score, and then the Mavs would score, and then Atlanta would score, and it was 38-27 with 3 minutes left. Dynasty bombs it 33-38. Their defense holds. Dynasty connects with Falco for 96 yards to take the lead, 39-38. A minute and 30 is on the clock. The Mavs, the Mavs answer back deep with their own touchdown for, I think it was Lewis, and end up getting the 2-point conversion to tie, or making it 46-39 with a minute and 12, 50 seconds left. Dynasty does it again, and it came down to the wire, and over 1,000 yards passing. That's crazy. That is insane. But both defenses played, I think, pretty well for what it was. It had turnovers. It had what people nowadays like in football, which is airing it out and the touchdowns. There were some dimes in there. There was some wide receivers saying "get off me" and physically powering it through to get free and get the touchdown. It was probably the best SFL game I've ever watched, and I think it's going to go down as one of the most exciting ones. So it was a blast, that one.
All of these games have been absolutely amazing, and you can tell the growth within the coaching staff from week to week. And I say that as I'm pulling up my notes. First off, I'm going to go over our game with Lone Star Glory. Now, you never count anybody out. I don't care what team you're on. You never just count anybody out. So you have to be prepared. And I found that we definitely had to be prepared for Miss Ike McBride, because if you let her run, she will bowl your defenders over to get what she needs. Like, she's a power back for a reason. She has that power to make those moves. And I think containing her was one of the best moves that we've done. And then just try to capitalize off any interceptions that were thrown to us, and there were 2. Passing game for Lone Star was 268 yards. They had 48 yards rushing, 316 yards total. They only held the ball for 17 minutes and 26 seconds with, again, 2 turnovers, where we had a cleaner game with no turnovers. 330 yards passing, 140 yards rushing, but 470 total. We held the ball for 25 minutes, 48 seconds. So us having the ball more, making no mistakes, and just being in the right place at the right time to capitalize off any mistakes was the key to winning against this fantastic Lone Star Glory team. Because Ace Finnick, you let him throw all day on you, he will definitely get those points that his team needs. So kudos for the effort that they did show, because again, all of these games that we're having, I'm never comfortable. You can't be. And if you think you can, you may be mistaken in the end. I'd also, my secondary game, if I can pull up my notes real quick. 1 second.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna give some props to Viper. Playing against us in DC. I thought Viper was probably the best wide receiver to be eligible to be picked in the draft, and a great game on that one. So
Indeed.
I wanted to show some props on that one. I didn't want to cover the DC game because I did it last week, and I didn't want to cover my own game again, but and mix it up. So
that's why you have the choice. You have the choice to cover whatever 2 games you want, and you chose those 2, so we're all good to go. The other game that I did choose was London taking on Vancouver. Now, I actually thought Vancouver was going to hand London their first loss in this one, and I was totally wrong. London came out guns blazing, and they have been utilizing their run game a whole lot more. London's passing was 291 yards. Rushing was 140 for 431 yards total. They held the ball for 22 minutes and 17 seconds with 2 turnovers. Vancouver had 370 yards passing, was only held to 60 yards rushing. So they held Robert Redford, from scoring those major points that they needed. But 430 total yards of offense, so very close. Even the time of possession was very close with 21 minutes and 15 seconds. But the 3 turnovers made a difference in this game, I believe, as well as holding Robert Redford to only 60 points. 60 yards. We all know that they're used to running Robert, and London has been doing a fantastic job of really studying and really understanding where the weak points are in each team and exploiting that, which hence why they're undefeated and why they won this game, in my opinion. But all in all, fantastic games all around. No one should be counted out. No one, in my opinion. But on to our picks for week 9. Should be interesting because we're going to take into consideration, what happened this week, the strengths that we have, that each team has, and maybe their weaknesses as well. But Diggy, did you get a chance to tabulate our who you got?
Yeah, I did, and I wore this shirt for you, because Cassius Clay, you knocked me down week 1, but I'm back. So, I went 11 for 12. Okay. Last week you went 7 for 12. So our new totals are, I'm 18 of 24 and you're 17 of 24.
Okay.
So, Sipe, if you know what you went last week, I can add you in this too.
I am not sure. I'd have to check that thing.
Well, get back to me and let me know, and I'll add you in there. But we'll do the picks this week.
Definitely. So week 9, September the 2nd, Jacksonville Kings, Jordan, will be taking on the Florida Storm in a classic matchup. Usually this matchup is for the championship games. It has been like season, 10, 11, 12. It was always those two teams. And they will be in the eyes. So what do you think, guys? Who do you think is going to take home the win?
So if I have to give my best guess, I think we can keep it close. I'm gonna have to say Florida for this one. Not that I don't have faith in my team with a rookie quarterback. Not gonna say his name, but it's been a little rough, so I'll give it to Florida.
Gotcha. Diggy?
I'm gonna go Florida as well. I did like seeing the quarterback from Jacksonville start off strong last week. I think there was a point where it was 11 to 12 in attempts in the yard. So I liked seeing that, and I think you give it another week or two and figure that out. But for this one right here, I'm going to go with Florida. But I think they're on the right path in Jacksonville.
Indeed, I actually will go with Florida too, because of the Ron Cochran, seasoned veteran. He is a Hall of Famer, and with Jacksonville rookie quarterback, just it's the rookie thing. You have learning curves. You got things that you got to overcome, and I guarantee you that you will. You're playing for a fantastic organization, and Frank is going to make sure he gets you right in the end. All right. Vancouver Legion will be taking on the Queen City Corsairs at Conpro Field, and I am actually going with Vancouver on this one. I think they're going to be upset that they could not pull that one off over London, and they're going to take it out on them.
I'm gonna go Vancouver as well. I don't know. I've been seeing some stuff on social media in regards to the quarterback situation in QCC, and I don't know how much legitimacy there is to that or what's going on, over there. But it seems like, there may be something more going on than we know in QCC, and I think it might be affecting some of the play. So I'm going to go Vancouver.
Gotcha.
I'll also have to say Vancouver for that one. Yeah, I think Vancouver has done very well and shows a lot more potential in this certain situation. So
noted. Also on the second, the Arizona Scorpions will be taking on the Denver Night Wings at Richard L. Snowden Stadium at 8:45 p.m. And the first two games will be taking place at 6:30 p.m. Eastern as well. Of course, I am going to go with the Arizona Scorpions, even though this is a away game. Sometimes home field advantage can kick in. Hopefully that will not be the case with the Denver Night Wings, because we have lost in a heartbreaking fashion to these guys before. So hopefully history will not repeat itself. So I'm going Arizona.
Not to keep repeating, but I'm gonna go Scorpions as well in this one.
Okay.
Also, not to keep repeating, but I guess recency bias, saying that I think Denver has a few holes that Arizona will probably exploit there. So,
gotcha. Tulsa Desperados will take it on Sioux Falls Sparrows at 8:45 p.m. Eastern as well at Liberty Park. And I'm going to defer to Diggy to go first and see who you pick.
You think I got some tactics to follow your picks so I stay in the lead? No, I'm gonna go Tulsa. I'm going Tulsa over Sioux Falls this week.
You would say Tulsa. Jordan, who you got?
I'm gonna go Sioux Falls.
Okay, because it's a home game.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a little bit of home field kick in sometimes, so I'll take a flyer on that one.
Gotcha. Well, I'm actually going to have to side with Diggy on this now. Mind you, I actually have all of my selections already prepared. So, Tulsa, I think, is going to want to win in this game. They are leading their division currently. They have been under the radar, but they have been doing an absolutely phenomenal job this season. And they're not getting a lot of people talking about them. So, I think that with this win, that they could definitely get that notoriety they should be getting. On the 3rd, the Atlanta Swarm, will be taking on the Fort Worth Toros at 6:30 p.m. Eastern in the Stockyards. I personally would have to go with the Fort Worth Toros because they have been doing a phenomenal job, and it looks like Atlanta still working some things out. With new coaching over there, they're still trying to find their way, things like that. So that game that they played last week put up 40 points. Were lost in the end with that field goal. Nothing you can do about that, but I am going to go with Fort Worth on this.
I think I'm going to go the other side and go Atlanta. I would have said Fort Worth, but something's pulling me over to the Swarm, and it could just be the fight we've seen from them the past 2 weeks. So, they're never down. They're always a contender in it. Even if you think you've stomped them pretty good, they still got a little sting left in them. So I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Gotcha. Jordan?
I'm going to have to go with Fort Worth as well.
Okay. Gotcha. Houston Headhunters will be taking on the Lone Star Glory at Medal of Honor Field at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Jordan, what do you have?
I'm going to have to say Houston. They've showed up pretty big in ways that at the beginning of the season I didn't really see them showing up. So I like kind of keeping tabs on them through the year, and I think they'll pull it off.
All right, Diggy.
I'm going Houston as well in this one. Houston's shown they're a problem. They're a problem. So I'm gonna stick with them this week.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Houston too because I know they're a problem. Their defense is nothing to play with. So if they are able to stop, capitalize off anything that Ace may throw or stop Ike McBride, yeah, they're probably gonna win, and they definitely have the squad to do so. So we'll see how that works out. Also on the 3rd, the Charleston Predators will be taking on Diggy's DC Dragons at Lord Destro Production Stadium at 8:45 p.m. DC, for me, has been showing a lot of promise. They did have their bumps and bruises when they first started with having mostly an all-rookie roster. Everybody stayed. Everybody decided to grow with them, and this is why they are so effective right now. I believe they're like maybe number 3 or 4 in the league standings, which is very impressive. So I'm definitely going to go with DC on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna also go DC. As much as Diggs makes me want to, Carl, DC is just, has just been unstoppable. No way, shape, or form have people really been able to go out and effectively ruin their offensive game plan. So I'll say DC.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick DC this week. Like I said, I've been real before and picked against my team just like Jordan has, but I'm not gonna say I think this one's in the bag because we've been playing a lot of close games this season. We played a lot of close games this season, and it's almost like we like playing down and then coming back at the last second. It's been a ride this year. There's been a lot of chest pain this year. But we've been finding a way to get it done, and I think we pull it off again this week. Even though I would like to see a game where we kind of blow somebody out of the water for once. I think this one will be another close game.
All right. Also on the 3rd, Baltimore Vultures, undefeated, will be taking on the Indianapolis Ramblers in Snake Pit. Because Baltimore has been showing so much strength and prowess, I have to go with Baltimore on this one. Indianapolis does show those glimmers of hope, in their games. They have 1-2. But I think that the more seasoned team, I would say, is going to take home this one. Diggy, who you got?
I'm gonna go Baltimore as well. We've seen progressions pick up, and Indianapolis, we've seen the experience from the coaching staff really take hold and show what they can do. I think Indy can give them a run for their money. So if they're going to lose right now, I think Indy could pull it off, but I'm going to go with Baltimore.
Okay, Jordan.
So I think the fact that Indianapolis is 2-5 right now doesn't give much credit to what they have done, especially as an expansion team. I forget who it was. They just the Motor City V8s. They just won, what was it, 3-0 something like that. So like they have the offensive firepower. I think they can do very well. But like you said, Ashley, I would have to say Baltimore's more seasoned, and I find it hard to pick against Baltimore at any time against any team. So
yeah, I definitely concur. I mean, when this is our own, then but even still, I definitely understand what you mean. All right, now we are back. So on September the 4th, the Minnesota Legends will be taking on the Carolina Skyhawks at David A. Richard Memorial Stadium at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to actually defer to Jordan on this one to pick first. Who do you think is going to win?
So I'm going to take a bold pick here. I'm going to say Carolina. I think Minnesota has done really well being an expansion team and kind of already being acclimated to the league. But I'm gonna say Carolina on this one.
Okay, Diggy.
I'm gonna go with my boy BJ and Reno over there. I think them and Axel will get it done. So I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
All right. I think I'm going to side with Jordan on this one and go with Carolina. Again, with the seasoned coaches over there, not to say that anyone is incapable of winning it, or they, I think that Carolina does have those, depending on which Carolina shows up, because, there are two teams that could show up, but I think the one that needs to show up was definitely the offense for Carolina. So if they are going to be playing the more I'd probably say leaning more towards the passing game, they could definitely eke this one out with Matt South at the helm. So we're going to see about that. The Seattle Nemesis will be taking on the London Knights in Queensway at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, it's crazy because it's definitely a difference. Seattle's looking for their first win. London hasn't lost yet. So I'm going to go with London on this one because they are showing that strength that is needed to be undefeated right now.
Yeah, London at home against Seattle. Not to say that just because they haven't won anything doesn't mean you can,
Exactly.
because there's always that one game that you don't expect to lose, but it's going to be hard to beat London at home for your first win. So maybe next week. I'm going to London.
Gotcha. Jordan?
I think Seattle has a lot of key pieces to be a really good team, but right now I would have to say London for that one.
All right, then. Also on the 4th, the Canton Classics will be taking on the Motor City V8s at Motor City Stadium at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. I think I'm going to roll with the Canton Classics on this one. Motor City still has some wrinkles to iron out, especially with the new coaching staff over there. Anytime you get a new coach, it takes some time to get everything acclimated, to get the coach acclimated to their system, to the team building, everything. And I'm just not sure if that's going to happen this week, particularly. So I'm going to give Canton the edge on this one.
I'm going to go Canton as well. I do want to say, though, I think people are kind of putting too much, maybe a little bit too much into the whooping they got. You know what I'm saying? Because before that, they did have some good wins, some good games in there too, especially with the system they're trying to run. So I think Canton pulls it out, but like I said, don't be afraid to worry about the V8s just because they got handed to them one time. So,
Good point. Jordan?
I agree. I wouldn't take that the huge loss, all too much against them, especially with the other games going the way they have. But I'm gonna have to say, Canton, they were off a really slow start in the beginning, but when they found their way, they found their way. So I'm gonna give them Canton.
Indeed. Last game will be the Los Angeles Vikings taking on Portland Fleet in the Shipyard, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Diggy, who you got?
I'm going Los Angeles. I said it last week. I think they're a little overlooked, and I think they continue to make some noise and pull out a win.
Got it. Jordan?
I'm gonna go Portland. Yeah. Just I don't know, what they're doing in that, with their playbook and everything, but Strive has done extremely well, and Ezekiel Love is obviously very well established. So I'm going to give them the win.
I actually agree with you on that. I think Portland's going to eke out this win. Unless Los Angeles can have an answer for Ezekiel Love, because last week, Ezekiel Love and Mel Davis both got hurt. Who knows? Maybe the outcome would have been a little bit different if they did. However, because they do have those two strong forces, Sully is an amazing quarterback. When he doesn't make the mistakes and when he doesn't have those turnovers, they can score on you. Their defense, they will grab the ball. Trust me, I know. But I'm going to give that edge to Portland Fleet. Just to be different and to see if that's actually going to give them the edge that they need. So, good stuff, y'all. We're going to see who's right and who's wrong. I know Diggy is keeping tabs on everything. And Diggy, don't be changing nothing either.
I ain't changing that. It's all recorded right here.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
I saw that pause button on the Who You Got for last week. Saw the pause and I said, AJ must have been changing her picks.
I will say, it was one I did change right as we were going. I picked something else and I actually wound up losing that one. So I'm going with my gut. The first ones that I chose is the ones that I'm going with instead of changing that at the end, because I did that last week and it didn't work out for me. Now, hot topic question. Who should decide who goes to the All-Star game? Currently, the league decides. I wish I would have got a chance to talk with Andrew or Cam on this, but I know they go based on stats. I'm not sure what other criteria they have. Should it still be decided with the league, or should it be decided amongst the peers of the community, or should it be a collaborative effort between the league and the coaching staff, because the coaches work so closely to these players. And there are some people that are often overlooked, or they feel as though like, hey, I'm putting up these numbers, I'm doing this, but I'm still getting overlooked. Perfect person would be Ike McBride. Everyone gives, a lot of kudos to the Robert Barrows, to the DJ Moses, and to the BDG Hollywoods. But she is just, if not more so, effective than these guys in certain games. I know when we played each other, she definitely bowled over a couple of my defenders. And when I watch her, she has that power to get those 10 plus yards and those touchdowns that you need. So I think for people like that, they definitely should be taken into consideration. And it's about finding out how to make sure that everybody is being looked at. So what are your takes on this, guys?
I'm going to say my take on it is I think I need to know a little bit more about everything that goes into the decision of whether than just stats, because you could have 20 tackles, 18 tackles in a game. It don't mean you had a great game. It just means you had more opportunity for that. It doesn't mean you're better. I mean, there's players out here that I say look at it as a whole. Yeah, there's players that don't see as many targets as other ones. And if they did, they would have just as good or better stats than those who had twice the volume of targets that they did. It's what you did with the opportunities you were given. And like you said, there's plenty out here that their numbers may not be on the first page of the stats sheet, but they're playing just as good or better than those people that are on the first page. So I think if you could do a mix of, the league the guys doing in the league and like a coach's vote, maybe just to give a little bit more depth or input on why you put those people up for nomination. The only thing I wouldn't want is it to turn into you made the game because the vote was based on popularity. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we all know this name. I don't know anybody else on this list, but I know, the top receivers or the top quarterbacks, or those names I remember. So I'm gonna vote for that one because that's what I don't know the others. So I think to keep it from becoming a popularity thing, do something like that. The coaches for the depth and the league doing that.
I like it. Jordan?
Yeah, I would also hate to see that where it does become a popularity contest. I think Axel Raven is the one who does the minor league one. Mm-hmm. And some of them, it was definitely seemed like it was a popularity contest at some points, which is not to go against, like, I know that's not, I don't know, I guess, I don't know if it's league official or not, but he does it in a way that it's just fun for everybody. Hey, if you guys want someone to go in, and that's awesome. But if we're going to go for the pros, I would say it would probably be best to have the league as well as the owners and just really in-depth people to say, like, hey, maybe this person had less yards, but they also had less opportunity. They just did a lot more with what they had. I would like to see those people in. So
I agree. Both of you made some really good points. And if I'm not mistaken, at one point it was a community thing where, the community votes for whom they would like. But you both are right. It will become a popularity contest because some people are more out there than others. Some people are more prevalent. When we have these shows and things like that, they're constantly seeing us. So their minds may just go, okay, well, I saw her on the show or I saw him on the show. I like them. Let me just do that, and not necessarily basing it on the actual performance. When the league does it by themselves, I noticed that people still tend to be angry because they are overlooked. And, with the league, they have this grand scale of players to look at. And maybe some do slide under the table or just get overlooked. I don't think it's intentional, but the result is still the same at the end of the day when, I'm getting DMs or, why didn't I make it? What do I have to do to make it? I'm like, I don't know. We have to figure it out. So I agree with both of you. I think it should be a collaborative effort between the coaches, the coaching staff, the people that work directly with these players. Even if you want to take their player, how they are in the locker room, if you want to add all of that, they can give you more details in that regard because it works so closely with them. And then the league will ultimately make decisions. They'll make the final say so, but I think it will be a more informed decision because they have a lot of people kind of adding more into it. So maybe there can be a report from each team that, hey, I think for offense, it should be this person, defense, it should be this person, and why. And then the league will take all of that information. And instead of going and looking at themselves, they could do that, but you're doing the work twice because you already had them doing it for you. Then they just go through, look at everything, see which ones make the most sense, and take it from there. Then that way, everyone feels like they're involved. No one feels like, okay, well, this is a popularity contest, or they don't like me, the league doesn't like, no.
Yeah, and that also takes off the, they just went off the top of the stat sheet, and this guy had the most tackles, so that was
exactly
what was in there. So
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, but so it's been a heck of a season. It's been a heck of a ride. I wish all teams the best. That
he's not going to pop in and say, "Hey."
No, he just came back to the store.
Hide in the background.
So now they said hi. That's Diggy and Jordan. They said hi. But yeah, so yeah, good stuff. We're gonna see how everything pans out this week and see who's gonna wind up being on top and who's gonna fall by the wayside. But on to my 4th and goal interviews that again features Ramos Lynn, Kendra Hall, and Pauly Truth. Coming right back at you. What is up? This is gonna be on the bloopers, by the way.
I love it. I love it.
All right, here we go. Oh, okay. Okay. What is up, SFL Nation? We are back with my 4th and goal interview, and I have here with me my good friend, Mr. Pauly Truth. He is the DOC of Seattle Nemesis. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I appreciate you having me here. Excited to be here with you and let SFL know what's going on here in Seattle.
Yeah, I can't wait. But first off, I got to do a big shout out to your best friend, Matthew. He was so sweet. I met Matthew and Pauly at the convention. Of course, you know Pauly and I always talk, but I met Matthew. Such a sweetheart, gave me a big hug, told me how much he loved the show, and just a genuinely good person. I cannot wait to hopefully see you again. If you want to be on the show, I know you're not a part of the league just yet, but if you want to come on and just be a guest, come on and chill with us and let us know from your perspective, Matthew. I'd love to have you. Okay.
I'll forward that to him.
Okay.
He'll be all excited. He'll be on next week.
All right, if he wants to come on, it's definitely a personal invite for me. But yeah, so let's talk about you, Pauly. So you accepted the new role as DOC of the Seattle Nemesis. So tell us all about that. What does that entail? How has that been going for you?
Oh, it's been going awesome. So what I've just been doing is I started up with some graphics, just kind of getting Seattle's brand out there. Just running the Twitter page, sharing information through there, all things Seattle related. We just signed K-Dub as our assistant DOC, and he's came in. He's already making awesome images, awesome graphics, so big shout out to K-Dub as well. But it's a team effort. It really is here in Seattle.
Indeed. And it has to be. That's what football is. It's team efforts. You can't do it without your team. So, and you seem to have a good fit. Now let's talk about what's going on over there. I know you guys are still searching for your first win. And honestly, when you are a brand new expansion team, and when you have a roster that mostly compiled of rookies, there are those learning curves. There are those player builds that you have to build up, that you have to get, in shape. So what is the team like right now? Like, what are their feelings about?
So we all kind of knew what we were getting into here. We're trying to build something here in Seattle. So starting the season, obviously you hope for a win every game, but that doesn't always happen. So prospectively looking from it, you got to look and build for the future. So that's where our heads are kind of at right now. We're kind of looking forward while also still trying to go out and compete week to week. Again, still searching for the first win. I feel it coming. I feel a couple coming.
Okay.
Hopefully 3. But it's been cool just starting something with a whole bunch of group of people, a whole brand new group of people, and it's just the locker room's fun. Everyone's awesome. That's where we're at right now in Seattle. We're just building for the future.
And that's good to know, because I was wondering what the general, the vibe of the locker room was like. Because anytime that you're, kind of going through this growing phase that you guys are, it may be a little daunting to some, but It is good to know that everybody knew coming in, hey, we're just getting everything established.
Yeah.
You know, so, but that's good. Your next opponents are London, Vancouver, Canton, Mexico City, Motor City, Queen City, and Portland. So you said that
we got a bunch of heavy hitters in there. Bunch of heavy hitters.
Yeah. So I do know that the last time I talked to Ethan, I know he was definitely looking forward to that Canton game because of the of everything that he and KJ was going through. So has he said anything more about any teams, or what are your thoughts, or any teams that you were most likely or most looking forward to playing?
Definitely looking forward to seeing what's going on in Vancouver. I'm excited to play them just because, to me, they're the big dogs of the conference, the division. So start off our first game against them. Excited to play them. I'm excited to play Motor City. You got a couple of my guys out there. Always a good time watching Motor City. And I'm also excited for the second Portland Fleet game. One of my guys, Cyrus Jive, he's quarterback, so excited to get back after him. And after looking over some film, hopefully we won't have another, 23 and 24 passing game, 23 straight passes. Sheesh! That was tough, man. That was tough.
Yeah, some growing pains though.
And that's what it is.
That's all. So what is Ethan's vibe like? He's a head coach over there too, right?
Correct.
So how has he been faring, with having that ownership hat on and the coaching hat as well?
Sure. Ethan's been doing an awesome job. Again, there's so much you can do with such like a base roster. We signed a lot of copper players, a couple of my friends that I got in. So we're just kind of building their builds up, getting their progressions in. And as far as starting with that basis, Ethan's exceeding expectations. I know we have an 0-6 record, but that still doesn't explain for the work that he's been putting in. David Harrell, he's also been putting in a ton of work. Jalen Wells, GM. Brady Agony, putting in tons of work on defensive side. So again, back to the whole team effort thing, collective effort, just everyone putting work in to make us get to where we want to be as a franchise.
Indeed. So, do you have any future plans? Is there anything that you want to try, maybe in the future, perhaps?
Future plans. The sky's the limit. Again, I've been here 3 seasons now. This is my 3rd SFL season, 1 minor season, so 4 seasons. Ever since the second I joined, based on my past and things I've done in the past, like building franchises on 2K, Madden, that's all I do. I don't even like playing the game. Again, sky's the limit with the SFL. I knew from the second I got here what I wanted to do in the future. I knew it was going to be a journey over time, but sky's the limit in the SFL for whatever my plans are.
All right. Nice. I like how you answered that.
Put me on the spot.
Well, a little bit. So, how is your music career going? So, just for everybody that doesn't know, Pauly is a fantastic musician. If you listen to any of my shows, you've probably heard many of his songs play, And so, what's been going on with that?
What's been going on? So, starting 3 weeks ago today, I started releasing a song a week. I'm going to do it the rest of the year. So I got another like 15, 20 songs releasing every Tuesday. Every Tuesday there's a new song. I have 3 songs out. Time Goes On. That was the last album. The Right Time, first single. Protagonists, second single. 1-800-GAMBLER, released today. All streaming platforms. If you are a gambling degenerate like me, check me out. If you've ever bet on a game, check me out. 1-800-GAMBLER. DM me your win slips, your lose slips. We're going viral on TikTok. We're going to try to. We're not actually. Hopefully we do. But I'm just going to keep making TikToks. So if you have bet slips, wins or losses, no matter how ridiculous they are, send them to me. There's real quick snippets of it, so just trying to get as many screenshots. Next week, I don't even know what song's coming out next week. I just upload them all in the future. And actually, let me check. We got Head Up, Bread Up dropping next Tuesday. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube, Pandora, iHeartRadio. Everywhere, man. Pauly J. Just gotta search out Pauly J.
And, for those that have not heard, you need to really go check him out. Again, if you have listened to my show, anytime. If you listen to my show, you probably heard his songs, and you probably kind of grew into him, not knowing that it's this man right here. And he actually gave me the 3 songs that he released, and you will be hearing them in the podcast. Now, make sure that when the song plays, you will know exactly that it's Pauly. All right?
I appreciate you.
Anytime, brother, anytime. So, what do you think, what is the philosophy of the Seattle Nemesis, in your opinion? Like, what do you want you guys to be known for?
That's a good question. I mean, again, starting bottom point on the totem pole, brand new team. We just gotta be persistent with what we're doing. We gotta be consistent and never stop grinding. I'm about to make a 3-song EP project: persistent, consistent, and always grinding.
There you go.
I just thought that on the spot, but that's our philosophy: persistence, consistency, and never stopping the grind.
Good deal. That's good stuff. I like that.
See that?
I see. You decked out. Spread shop.
The spread shop. We got Sector 6 coming soon. Seattle jerseys coming soon.
Okay.
Pumped.
I know the logo. That logo is fire. Even the colors.
The logo and the branding's awesome.
So, have you guys been actually going out to different places in Seattle and kind of trying to get your names out there to let them know that you represent?
Not that I personally have known of, but it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I might have to draft some emails, put my salesman on.
There you go. And by you being in the music industry and making your music, I'm sure that you have some good networks. So, hey, that might be the start of something great,
Yeah, you never know.
Exactly. I've actually reached out to some of the shops around here.
Yeah.
Some of them nationally known, some of them are not. The Chamber of Commerce, things like that. Try to see what they can do, how we can help them, how they can help us, all that good stuff.
Sure. I hear that.
Now, you guys had a bye week this week, and you're coming back to play London. What do you think will be keys for you guys to take home this win and hand them their first loss?
I personally believe we need to stop the run. Obviously, how do you do that when Robert Merrill, correct? Every time I've seen London play, he has 4 touchdowns, 200 yards. He's been dominating. So that's going to be a big thing. We need to stop Robert Merrill. Offense, again, we just need to hold on to the ball. We need to not turn the ball over. A couple turnovers would be nice on defense. We got to stop the run and just persistence, consistency, and staying on the grind.
Hey, you might as well make that a hashtag too, because I see you got hashtag dark side right here.
Hashtag dark side.
So what does that mean? Who came up with that?
That all the hashtags, everything, that was all set up before I even stepped foot in Seattle.
Okay.
Just welcome to the dark side. Like, it's the Seattle nemesis, you know? Being the nemesis, again, no one wants to lose to the nemesis, so we're just the dark side, man.
Yeah, gotcha. So you were in Florida for a couple seasons.
Correct.
So what was being in Florida like, and what made you actually want to make that switch over to Seattle?
Being in Florida was awesome. Again, the only negative that for me joining the SFL was I didn't play a whole lot as tight end too, but I understood that role that I was in. The locker room there was awesome, but me just wanting to kind of branch out and kind of offer a little bit more to another team, and just help build something fresh from the ground up. That's another song title of mine, From the Ground Up. And just see where we can go and see where we can take Seattle. And that was my big thing, just kind of branching out, getting into some more things, getting more into the league, and just trying to build something great.
And you know, y'all doing that. It's a work in progress. Anything that's worth having, it's gonna take some time
Absolutely.
building. And I wish you all the best of luck in everything that you do.
Appreciate it.
Definitely. So, do you have anything for me? Like, do you have any questions for me? Is there anything that was on your mind that you just wanted to kind of talk about? Because there actually is one thing I wanted your opinion on before I actually let you go. But I wanted you to go first with that if you had any questions or anything.
As far as I can think of as of right now, I mean, not really any questions I can think of. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on everything within the league. I'm starting to understand all the ins and outs of things. The biggest thing, how do I get access to the team roster files to export into the editor? Because I have the ROM, I just can't load in the rosters.
So I would suggest that you contact Andrew, Deputy DDP, for that.
Okay.
He should be able to guide you in the
Gotcha.
right direction for that. Yeah.
That's really all I'm at right now, because I want to load the rosters in, run some sims, and try to figure out the game first, so then I can understand how to use that with the SFL. Because again, I'm a big Madden guy. Simmed so many thousands of seasons. It's unbelievable how much I've simmed.
So then you'd probably be a good scout for Seattle.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something you can actually do to kind of help out too.
Yeah.
You know, because
I've been trying to get these roster files all season. I haven't really tried the past couple weeks, but early in the season I was trying to get them, like before the season. But yeah, I just need. If I get the rosters, I would love to start scouting, seeing what else I can do to help with game planning for games each week. Just kind of see where that goes.
So have you talked to Ethan about this, right?
Me and David have been in contact about it. We've been both trying to work up a solution to get something going here.
Well, if all else fails, just let Ethan know what you're trying to do as well.
Yeah,
and
he
probably will get an answer faster, you know.
I gotcha.
And yeah, because hey, all sets of any eyes is gonna help.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, one more thing before I let you go. So what are your thoughts on the All-Star Game? So how the All-Star Game, or how the selections are made for the All-Star Game specifically. Do you think, because right now the league does it, do you think it should remain the league doing it, or do you think it should be a combination of the league and coaching staff coming up with those players, or do you think it should be a community with community votes?
So years back, I used to help run a league. of a game we all played. It was football based, kept stats, all that.
Mhm.
It basically boiled down to the people running the league deciding, and then we would run like a community vote, but we would add that in to like, so if you factor in like league officials, and then you factor in team owners, and then you factor in the community, and like just different grading scale, why not combine them all?
Agreed.
You know, I mean,
Because
as far as the league doing it now, I mean, I haven't really been up there in the running for anything, so I may not necessarily have paid attention to it all, but
Right.
just for the generality of it, I mean, why not?
I agree. And the reason that I bring it up is because it was a part of the suggestions channel.
I remember I saw that. That's what I was getting ready to pull it up. I couldn't find the.
I believe it was
Yeah.
Fox Highwind. Was that Fox that put that
All-Star
suggestion?
tournament.
Right.
Tournament
And so-
wouldn't be a bad idea.
I agree, but it's something to be said, especially when people are feeling like, okay, so all of the progression points out, all of the effort that I've been showing on the field is still being overlooked. I use the example as Ike McBride. Everybody talks about all the other, well-known running backs like
Yeah.
E.G. Hollywoods and Robert Merrills and DJ Moses and all of that, but she's barreling over like 3 or 4 defenders just trying to get the the touchdown. I mean, so I think it's just a matter of ensuring that everything is looked at and not just the first page, as some
Sure.
people say. So
Sure, and there's so many ways you can look at it, and that's just anything in life. There's so many different things you can look at and perceive it as. Every option could work. There's a way to make everything work. As far as what the best option is, you don't know that for anything unless you try it. So, I mean, say you try something, then it doesn't work, you can always go back to what worked.
exactly, and then that it didn't.
Yeah.
I think it's I read a book, kind of like a self-help book, and it was like faith over fear always. Because a lot of times you're fearful about doing stuff, you make up all kinds of excuses as to why you can or why you won't or you can't.
Yeah.
But if you have faith in yourself, faith in your team, faith in the people that you trust to be around you, then you won't fail. So
That's all I need.
that's right.
We're spreading some wisdom.
Yeah.
We're spreading some wisdom tonight.
Well, I tend to do that with you, so
Absolutely.
I just wish I could have hung out with you a little bit more at the convention, though.
Yeah.
I felt like it wasn't long enough. Like I had a little bit of time with everybody and not like a lot of time with everybody.
Yeah.
But it was next year.
Next year.
Definitely. Okay. All right, Pauly. Well, if you have any shout outs before I let you go, I can't let you go without giving you the last word. So that could be a song. Well, you already gave me the song. So that could be a poem or just a simple shout out to whoever you like. But right now, Pauly, the floor is yours.
Shout out to the Seattle Nemesis. We're coming. Beware SFL Nation. We're coming. You see, if you load the stream up and you hear that SFL action anthem and you're going up against the Nemesis, we're coming. Shout out everyone on the coaching staff. Shout out to all the players, everyone grinding for our team. Shout out to Lexington Miners, and the new player personnel guy in Lexington. So excited to get into the SFLm and see what's going on in there. Shout out Marco. Shout out everyone involved with the SFL. Shout out A.J.Striker. Appreciate you having me on here. Appreciate you all watching. Appreciate you all liking and subscribing down below right here on the screen. Shout out everyone checking out my music. New song every Tuesday. Appreciate you all. That's all I got.
I love it. But listen, brother, thank you so much for your
Absolutely.
time, Please come back whenever you want to. You can
Absolutely.
even you can help me co-host sometime. We can go over some games together and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Sounds
All
good.
right, Pauly. I'll see you
Alrighty.
soon, brother.
You too.
What is up, SFL Nation? And we are back with a Fourth and Goal interview featuring Mr. Ramos Lynn. He is the owner of the Mexico City Aztecs that are doing a phenomenal job this season. How are you doing, sir?
I'm great. You guys are doing really well too. Really good too. So, hopefully we can keep going, and obviously always rooting for you guys, rooting for love Eddie, love yourself, and always rooting for your team as well. It's been a fun season.
Yes, it has, and we, the feeling is mutual. We love the Aztecs.
Appreciate it.
Every time we play you guys, it's never a comfortable situation. It's never something that we go in like, oh, okay, well, we got this. No.
Oh, trust me. The feeling is mutual. It's just a grind. It's a grind. And that's something that I've told Eddie Gage. He always is like, I cannot do offense, which is rubbish. Like he can do offense better than most people, and he's also got the defense on lock. So yeah, you guys are very well coached.
But it does say something to coaches that have been in the league for as long as you both have, because you've had more experiences to try more plays to see what works and what doesn't work. So naturally, if someone's asking me, especially when I do my Who You Gots, I look at more than just the team. I look at the coaches more so, and who's seasoned, who's not, who tends to think outside the box, changes things up, and who likes to say the same. And it could actually be seen if you're paying attention to it. And,
sure.
Kudos to you guys for always changing it up.
Thanks. Yeah, I know, and it's fun. I think it's the fun part of coaching is just exploring new things and doing different things. Right now, turning, for example, Bentley into a running back and doing things with him different than what we do with Phoenix, and just changing it up from last season and the season prior. It just keeps the game and just the whole team fresh. Season to season, you don't really know what to expect. We do have our bread and butter plays, whatever, but for the most part, it does change season to season.
Indeed, and as it should. Mighty gave me some of the best advice, and I think if anybody was listening, that you should, just change up everything at the end of the season, because
right.
If somebody can look at you weeks, and they see that pattern, of course they're gonna be ready for you, and
sure.
So that's how we've been affected. But let's talk about you guys. So first of all, how have you been personally?
I've been great. I've been fantastic, actually. I changed positions at work, personally changed positions at work a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Doing well, like what I'm doing, and just everything going up. I think it's a great moment in my life overall, and so happy about that. And fresh off 25 years old, so not too bad.
I keep forgetting that you're just 25.
Yeah.
I think because your spirit, you have a spirit that's a lot older than you are, and you can relate to a lot of people, my age and things like that, and it's dope. But
I have always been around and grown with people who is older than me for the most part. Even at school, I was always in my class, I was one of the youngest, and then in the work environment, I was always one of the youngest as well. In the SFL, I'm one of the youngest as well. So it's from the moment I joined back in 2014 till now, it's just been a big part of my life.
Awesome, man. So in the league standings, you guys are sitting pretty at number 3, 6-1. Your next opponent is going to be the Atlanta Swarm. But before we move into that, you just had a game with Las Vegas, and great ball to watch, a great ball game to watch. You guys have been killing it on offense. just looking back at the score, the score breakdown. You guys didn't score anything in the first quarter, but you had 14 points in the second and the third quarters to actually win the game. So, and then you held Las Vegas to only a touchdown in the first and in the second. So, what do you think the key is to your success thus far?
I think it's the group of guys that we have. We can do everything at a very high level. You know, and it was mentioned somewhere. I think it was Mike O'Neill in his podcast as well. And he said, you know, I don't see much of a weakness in that team, or he was like, you know, everything is clicking. And I think it is. You know, we can run the ball really well with 2 Hall of Fame level backs. You know, Ray Bentley's already there, and I think Phoenix will be there in probably a couple of seasons. He's well on his way. Then we have great receivers. Nick Lockett has been just an absolute monster this season for us. He's very underrated, but he has 5 touchdowns and 27 catches. So, you know, you combine that with Mike Dax, and you combine that with Jacob McCall, and with Jason and Bill Henry, like Terrell, like everybody. And then on defense, we have a very young group of guys, but they are stepping up really, really highly. You know, it's Jermaine Menafield at the number 2 cornerback position, had 2 picks, including a pick 6 in this previous game. So again, it's a very young defense getting better with some veteran talents. You know, Bernard Patterson, who came in from Portland for this season for us, has been one of the leaders, both in the locker room and on the field playing. Great group of linebackers. I think everybody is playing at a super high level. The special teams with Cole and with Jeffrey returning. I think it's. I think we are a very complete team, and you know, I credit the guys for that.
Indeed. Another thing I like to look at when, you know, studying teams is your third down conversion. And looks like you guys were able to convert 9 times out of the 13 times that you attempted, which is awesome. And your time of possession, you held the ball for a lot longer than most of the teams that you played. The only loss that you guys had was against the Houston Hyenas. I'm so, they gonna be mad. Houston Headhunters. Oh.
There you go. See, when you say hyenas, I was like, yeah, hyenas, but no, it's Headhunters. You're right. I didn't correct you because I came with the flow as well as the hyenas, but you're so used to it. Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm thinking. It's like that's as soon as I came in the league, I've been in the league for a while. There were always the hyenas, and then they just switched it up this year. But yeah. So that's what I look at. I look at your time of possession, and the thing is, in all the games that you guys had, definitely dominated in the time of possession and third down realm. And I think that is probably one of the secrets to your success as well.
Yes, for sure. There's a couple things that you have to do in the SFL. There's 3 things, but I'm going to focus on offense. There's 2 things that you have to do to be good. Number 1 is your third down conversions. You need to be able to move the chains to stay on the field. And the number 2 thing is the red zone. You would need to put the ball in the end zone to win games in the SFL. You cannot go into the inside the 20-yard line and just get a couple field goals and then a couple picks and just be lousy in that regard. You need to be able to put the ball in the end zone. Like, it's the situational football part of thing here in the SFL, which wins or loses you ball games more often than not. You know, if you're in the plus side of that, you're gonna win more often than not.
Indeed. And since the gameplay that you guys have had, you've had a few history making games as well. Matt Wilson, of course, tough loss not only for the Aztecs, for everybody. We all felt that, but he's definitely been playing in spirit with you guys.
Sure.
He had his 50,000 passing yard mark that he made. I'm sure it's over that now. That was one thing that I definitely wanted to get your feedback on. What did you think when he finally got that to that point?
It's funny because obviously it's a great achievement for him to get. It's just incredible. 50,000. I remember when we drafted it, a few years back. So, but for him, it's funny because for him it will be like, I don't care about the 50,000. I just care that we won the ball game. That he was that type of guy. He was like, 50,000. Yeah, I have almost 400 touchdowns. It's like, are we winning the game or not? And so for him, it's obviously phenomenal. It's just great. All the guys in the locker room, saying mad and the 50,000 and everything, which was awesome. And it's awesome that it's also coming with the victories, which makes it that much sweeter.
Indeed. Then Ray Bentley getting his 100th touchdown.
Yeah, and that was fun too. And it was the game against San Diego, where he got that. And Phoenix Jones already had 4 touchdowns in the game, and we put it's a power formation. We put inside the 1. It's a formation that normally is designed for Jones because he's the power back, so in that situation. And Bentley comes into the field as almost as if he subbed himself into the game. It's like, oh, Bentley's on the field. Actually, it's not Phoenix Jones as normally is. And he was able to punch it in for his 100th, which was really cool. Again, it's a guy that I remember, him joining us as an undrafted guy, middle of the season, and then became a running back, and then his career just launched almost immediately. So 100 for him is just phenomenal, especially because he's been just so unselfish. With the team, stepping back from the halfback position to the fullback position, a little bit of a lesser role, even though we involved him heavily, and now going to the halfback position back, but as a number 2, where he's more in passing, like downs and situations, getting a handoff here or there, taking a back seat for Phoenix. And it's just so good to see a guy like unselfish like that, get his 100.
Definitely. Jeffrey Daggs, newly inducted Hall of Fame member, 1,000 career tackles.
Not bad for a 5'10" guy,
right?
At all. And it's a prime example of coming into the league. It's just making the most of your progressions and being put in the right positions to be successful on the football field. Nowadays we see a lot of safeties, 6'3", 6'4", 230, almost linebackers in the safety position. But I think there's more than one way to go about doing things, and Jeffrey's a prime example of it. He's one of the better tacklers, in my opinion, in the league. Once he gets to the halfback, he doesn't let him go. And of course we know his interception and returning prowess. So he's awesome, and also happy to see him get that many tackles. Probably he's gonna catch Eddie Gage one day. I don't think so, but we'll see about that.
I don't know. If Eddie keeps taking off those attributes and stuff, not attributes. If he keeps taking off his
abilities.
His abilities, then he probably catch up. We was talking about that on my show last week.
Okay.
It's like you're not gonna get it if you're gonna keep getting. And he's so selfless.
Yes.
He's not one of those people that I want to make my owner player look good. He's like, I'm gonna make sure everybody else has what they need. So
right.
It's all good. Looking at the South Division standings, the guys are number 1, followed by Houston, Fort Worth, and then Lone Star. So, how do you think that you're going to be able to maintain the number 1 position in your division?
Well, it all depends on us. I mean, we are 1 game ahead of Houston, or half a game, however you wanna. Describe it. Because they're 5-2, and they're 5-2, right? They're 5-2, and we're 6-1.
Well, this says 4-2 here, unless everything hasn't updated yet. It's 4-2, and then you're 6-1.
Yeah, they won today. Houston won today.
Okay.
So they will be 5-2, 6-1, but they have the tiebreaker because they beat us. So let's just say it's half game. We're still in control of the division. As long as we win, we're gonna be on top. But it's in my opinion the toughest division in the league right now. It's right now the South Division. Fort Worth is all of a sudden playing like season 17 Fort Worth when they won 9 games. Lone Star took a loss against you guys, but I think they're a very tough out as well. They play really well. And obviously Houston is a team that beat us already, so they play well, and we'll see. I think we have everything needed to stay at the top of the division.
Definitely. And Houston almost beat us. I mean, you only won by 1 point, and I threw 5 interceptions that game. So I'm like, whoo.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
they're that defense is something scary. So you got to be prepared for them.
Yeah, Josh Rowe, you could argue is the best safety in the league. And they have very good pass rush. DR Sim, Corky in the wide receiver positions. Yeah, they're very complete.
In your opinion, who do you think, which team do you think will remain undefeated, at least to the playoffs? London or Baltimore? Because both of them are undefeated right now.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the schedules. And if they play each other. I don't think they do. Because like they split the division. So London is in the north and now Baltimore's in the Atlantic. They used to be in the same division. I would not be surprised if both made it undefeated. I would not be surprised if neither of them made it undefeated because, Baltimore, it's a phenomenal football team. We know about that. Who, just beat Sioux Falls by 10 points, which was a really good win for them. But at the same time, I think Baltimore, down the stretch could slip up like what happened against precisely London a couple seasons ago. They were 11-0 coming into the last week. London was like a 2-touchdown underdog, and London beat them. And as far as the London Knights is concerned, they're great. Robert Merrill is the MVP right now, in my opinion at least. And but if there is one game maybe which a defense prepares well for him, and instead of him getting 200 yards, he gets 80 yards. I think London could be beaten as well. Any team could be beaten, but I think that could happen. They're both great teams. Again, I will not be shocked if both of them made it to 12-0. But again, I will not be shocked if they both lost here in the next few weeks.
Okay, gotcha. And so, in your opinion, who do you think, besides your own team, because I know it's easy for you to say that, but who do you think will ultimately, or just name two teams that you think will make it to the playoffs, without a doubt?
Without a doubt to the playoffs, of course, Baltimore and London. Those are two teams. If I have to exclude them because they are undefeated, I will go definitely DC. Yeah. It's a great team right now. DC is just balling out. Yeah. So
it's amazing how far they came too.
Yeah. No, surely, absolutely. So that's one. And the other one, I will say Vancouver. They're 4-3 right now, but the losses they have suffered are against DC, London, and Baltimore. That's a combined 19-1 between those three teams. So there's no shame in losing against them. I will not be surprised if Vancouver just goes in and wins out and finishes 9-3 or 8-4. But I think they are going to be surely in the playoffs.
Gotcha. With your experience with 2K, All Pro 2K8, and when we're adding these different high and low value animations, can you name at least maybe two that you've noticed that is not effective for that particular position? And you can choose whatever position you want to explain that. But for some people, say like leadership really doesn't do a lot for you if you add that animation. Or another one was fourth quarter comeback for the quarterback. So what are your opinions on that? Okay,
first on the leadership, it does work. Certainly does work. But it doesn't work with the same oomph or the same power in different players. Okay. You get the best out of the leadership bonus on your quarterback, for example, or maybe on a D lineman, or maybe on a linebacker. If you put leadership on a tight end, like if you put a leadership on a fullback, okay. It's not too big of a deal. Leadership on a quarterback is a deal breaker, or like a game breaker. It's just so good. Like if I could only put one ability on my quarterback, it would be leadership bonus. So with that being said, I will say, all abilities work to a certain degree. Some more than others. But here's the thing: it depends. Like, let's say running back. If you're a power back, if you're built for power, and you put finesse ability, or if you put juke, or if you put cyclone, you're just wasting your time and wasting your progression. It's as simple as that. Because if you're 6'3", 230 pounds, you may already have power and branching tackle or battering ram and arm of steel and you don't know what else to put. It's better to put clutch. It's better to put even leadership bonus, in my opinion, than what it is putting like cyclone or like the juke move, or I forgot its name, animation. That does nothing for you. If you're finesse, sure, but if you're a power back, you have no business putting that. And the other way around. If you're a finesse back, if you put battering ram, if you put arm of steel, you're just wasting your time.
And I think that's valuable information for those who are not necessarily taking the advice of the coaches that is offered, or even just looking to do their own thing. Even the rookies that are, signing up and trying to make their players as effective. I think they need to be privy to certain things like this. Even though we're all in competition, you still want to make sure that, everybody can have some sort of idea as to where to go.
Right.
With that.
And there's no perfect player. It's not like you have to have like this, and this to be good. You can make it so many ways. Like you can put a wide receiver with like say breakaway burst and acrobatic catches and clutch. You can do another one with route god and who knows, like tough in the middle and possession receiver, and they probably both will be just as good. Like there's really no certain way to go about doing things. It's just it has to go in coordination with the coaching, right? And putting yourself in the right position to win and making the most out of those abilities.
Gotcha. All-Star game, when making the selections, do you know how the selections are made? Because I know that there are some people that, they get left out of the All-Star game and feel like, oh, well, I did better than this person. I did better than this person, or I never get a shot, Do you know, A, how the selections are made? And B, would you be able to maybe offer a suggestion as to if anything that, in your opinion, needs to be changed on how that criteria is met? Do you have any input on that? Because I did see that was one of the questions in the suggestion chat.
Yes. So back in the day, it was Cam would put a poll to everybody in the community to vote. Now it's done at the league's discretion. So it's the league staff deciding who's going to make it to the All-Star game, and they do have their own criteria. I don't know what exactly it is. Of course, stats have to do with it, impact on the field, and so many things they have to do with it. But it's basically the league's decision. It's under their discretion. As far as a suggestion will be concerned, yes, I would like for the All-Star game to also have a poll for coaches. And you could not vote for your own players in order for this not to be like,
favoritism.
Biased. Exactly. But I think that nobody could choose better all-star players than coaches that scout and, spend hours and hours scouting and saying, I have to stop this dude. Maybe they don't have unbelievable stats. Maybe they don't have 15 touchdowns on the season. Maybe their name is not very, very popular for whatever reason, but we know, like we coaches know, like it's like that guy is for real, and I think that the coaches' input for the All-Star game could go a long way.
Right, and think about players like Ike McBride. She's absolutely amazing.
She's probably the toughest running back to stop.
Right.
As far as like you think, because you can say Robert Merrill, but it's like Robert Merrill runs past everybody, and that's that's the reason why he's so difficult to stop. But it's like you may have the right game plan. Your linebacker is there, your safety's there, and she will just run over both of them and get 15 yards.
Yes, so powerful.
Yes, and so I think she's the prime example, because you think Robert Merrill and you think Phoenix probably, and you think a few other guys, and obviously well deserved, because we have great running backs in the league. But players such as Ike, TJ Punk, to mention a teammate. He played for us as well for a season as a tight end, so I know him very well. It's like you don't mention them a lot, but you know their value. Once you coach and once you scout, it's like, yeah, he's for real.
And I think that's a good idea. I do think that the coaches and scouts should be more involved. I think it would even maybe quiet some of the naysayers or people that don't believe it, because like, hey, your coach didn't put you in this, then hey, that's the person that's working directly with you, so you can't argue now.
Right.
And
even guys that, for example, have a special role and they're very good in that role. The prime example to me is Parker Thomas. He's probably the best slot corner in the league. And that's not saying, like, for me, it's like he's not like the best corner in the league. Like, probably, with all due respect, he's probably not a top 5 corner in the league. But at what he does in the slot, he's the best slot. And because of that, he deserves to be in the All-Star game. It's like, for example, a receiver, let's just say a receiver who's a number 4 receiver, but he's the best kick returning in the league. I'm just saying an example. It's like, okay, he's not going to be in the All-Star game because of his receiving prowess, but he's going to be in there because he can return the ball better than anybody. So it's that kind of thing. It's like at what he does, he's arguably the best, right there with Enzo Bolt to me, and our own Liam Ryan as the best slot corners. And because they are so good at what they do and what the coaches ask for them, they deserve to be in the All-Star game.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Last question that I want to ask for this evening. Now, you got a nice schedule ahead of you. Is there any team that, obviously, everybody, is going to put their best effort forward? But is there any other team that you feel like you may have to prepare just a little bit more for than the others? So I'm looking at your schedule, and it looks like you have Atlanta. Let's see, make sure I got that right. You have Atlanta next week. Then you have Fort Worth. That's going to be a fantastic game to watch. You got Louisiana. Ooh, dang, Ramos. You got Denver. And then you have Lone Star Glory. Right. So is there anyone that you think you're going to have to prepare a little bit more for? Or
we're going to obviously do our due diligence for every game. And I'm going to mention one team. This is not to take anything away from the other teams, but Fort Worth, because they are playing like season 17 Fort Worth right now. They are just balling out of control, and quietly have become to me like a top 7, top 8 team in the SFL at this point. We are mentioning London and Baltimore and DC and Vancouver and Houston and Arizona, like rightfully so. But I think Fort Worth, right there with Tulsa, for example, are like 2 teams that are just playing so good right now that not a lot of people is talking about.
It's true, and they often get overlooked, and that's why we have these shows that's going to make sure they get that love and that shine that they deserve.
Yeah, and they're getting overlooked in part because they are 3rd in the division. Like, it's crazy. Like, they're so good and they're still 3rd. Like, they will be, and again, not to discredit anybody, but they will be leading the division if they were in the East. Is it the East division? I think it's the East. Is it Florida leading it? They just lost. I think they're 3-4, and no team is over 500 right now in that division. I think it's the division with it's Florida, Carolina, Charleston, and
Florida is leading the East. They got Atlanta. They have Atlanta, Louisiana, and Jacksonville with them. In Atlantic.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So Tulsa is in Central with Minnesota, Sioux Falls, and Indianapolis.
Sioux Falls, Indiana. Yes, correct.
So
in Fort Worth, and again, not to be disrespectful to anybody, but if Fort Worth wasn't like in that division, they will be leading that division probably. So and people will be mentioning them. So they deserve more kudos for what they're doing.
Good stuff, man. Ramos, it is always a pleasure to sit down and have you here with me. But listen, I'm going to ask you, do you have any questions for me that you want to ask, that you want to, or anything you want to talk about?
How's co-owning life treating you so far?
It's actually been more to say. It has been interesting being in that, being in the owner's channel. Y'all warned me. But Ashley gonna do what she want to do anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
You see how my reactions are in there. So I'm just, it's all good. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning about the business aspect of it. Alexio and Andy Hamilton been, kind of giving pointers about how to get the more business aspect of things. So it's been a wonderful experience. Learning a lot. Still a GM, so I'm still doing, all of those tasks. So it's like nothing really changed except I got another title.
Yeah, exactly. But things do change as far as progression is concerned and evolving and learning. You never stop learning. Like me right now, I'm still learning and evolving and trying to change things, and that will never stop. To be honest with you, you never stop, learning.
You shouldn't. That's what life is about.
For sure. And you cannot become stale in this league. If not, you're gonna start losing more often than not.
That, and then you start losing interest in what you're doing. So
that too for sure.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's pretty much it. I think that's it. Congratulations to you for a great season so far. You being the GM, you have built a really good football team, and very well coached. And you're en route for the playoffs too. Sure.
Hey, we're doing our best. We're trying to keep up with, with teams like you and Baltimore, number one, doing your thing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
I tell you what, if playoff time and, we get to the semifinals and it's you again, I don't know if I'm going to have any hair left because that.
Probably me neither, which is going to be difficult. But no, it's yeah. Yeah, that's a tough match for both.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, for both. Like, we normally score less points than we normally do. Like, for them, like normally, right? We normally score less points than we normally do, and it's a struggle.
If I even attempt to throw downfield, I know somebody's gonna be ball hawking. They're gonna do.
Yeah, well, us too. Believe that.
Well, Ramos, thank you for being on. I really appreciate you. And of course, you can come back anytime you want to. You can shoot the breeze, whatever you want to do, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Be safe out there.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Good luck the rest of the season.
You too. Appreciate it.
All right. That is it, everybody. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you had as much fun watching as we had as making this podcast for you. Special thanks goes out to Ramos Lynn and Pauly Truth for being on the show, and of course to my co-hosts, Diggy, and to Jordy. I think I got your name, Diggy and Jordy.
Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it to me.
He doesn't like it. That means it's a keeper.
Jordy!
Keep replying like, do I want to go on the show? Does today feel like a Jordy day?
Hey, it'll help some of those bad plays ease a little bit better. Oh, Jordy.
See?
Oh, Jordy. Oh, Jordy.
No, because if I hear that every single time I have a bad play, I'm going to go absolutely insane. I couldn't do it.
No, you were working up last week. I think you'll turn it around this week. But,
yeah, I agree.
Get back to me on what games you'll pick.
Oh, I got them. I had 8 right and 4 wrong.
No, I'm talking about for.
Yeah, you said for last week.
For this week coming up.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. All right, guys. So y'all have any words of wisdom? You have any words of encouragement? You have any good words for the people that are watching right now? Jordy, I'm gonna start with you first.
I'll just.
What'd you say?
I'm gonna end on Go Kings. That's what I got for you today.
All right, Jordan. Thank you. And Diggy.
Let's get ready to play some more football. I'm ready. I'm ready for next week already. I don't like these days off.
I know that's right. Go ahead and carry up. Shoot, fast forward. But everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Again, I'm looking forward to bringing you another great podcast next week. But until then, y'all, stay safe, treat each other well. For Diggy and for Jordan, Striker, we're out. All right, what is up, SFL Nation? And we are back with our fourth and goal interview. Tonight's guest is Mr. Pauly Truth. He is the GM of the Seattle Nemesis.
DOC.
We're gonna run that back. Okay. You can't be complaining about the name I give you.
I'm not complaining.
Hey, Jordan.
We'll call it a gentle reminder every time I do something, and I'll just hear your little voice in the back of my head, Jordy.
So actually, for next week, I think I'm gonna pick. I think I'm gonna pick Tulsa and Sioux Falls to watch.
Okay.
And I might go ahead and go Minnesota and Carolina, just because y'all both picked against me.
Got it. I'm going to go with Baltimore and Indy and my game.
I will do Portland, since I like seeing Cyrus Jive do well.
Yep. I figured you would off that one up, so.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it was cool because when the stuff was going on with that other quarterback, Xander or something, he was always just, putting me to be a bad guy. And I was like, no, I want all of us quarterbacks to succeed. Like, I think all of us should do well. So I like watching Portland and that other team. I forget.
If you wouldn't have picked Portland and versus Lycans, I was going to pick that one just because I still feel like the Lycans are a little overlooked. I think DC is still a little overlooked. I mean, we won against Vancouver without our starting running back. I think, and like some of these games have been close, but we pulled it out. So I think those being closer games, people are like, hey, DC's kind of still skating by. Are they the real deal or not? But it's good. It's fine.
From what I see a lot, I feel like if your quarterback is lower than a 100 overall, it definitely does. You need to watch the quarterbacks and how many interceptions they throw. Not that everybody doesn't throw a lot, but typically with the lower one. So when I look at Motor City, I'm just like, how they got 2 wins with a really low quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out, so what do they have that what are they doing that we need to do? How are they doing this? And that's why I'm just like, I still have no conclusive
and
thoughts.
On top of that, wasn't the V8's quarterback actually one of the top quarterbacks in the league there for a second, as being such a low player?
Yeah, you mean like their current guy?
Yeah, I think it was passing yardage or something like that. He was towards the top of the league in something.
Yeah, it must be the offense. Like, their playbooks are really good because them and Portland both have pretty decent stats for their low-rated quarterbacks. I'm gonna look it up real quick, but
yeah. But while he's doing that, I'm curious to see what the rest of the people are gonna think about your hot topic and how that is gonna get looked at for picking all-star people.
I mean, true. I'm getting these hot topics from the suggestion page. So people that are putting their suggestions as to what could be done, maybe a little bit better, things like that. And these have been some really legitimate questions. I think that question was from Fox Highland, as a matter of fact. I think he put that up there. And because I hear it every season, you know, like, oh man, I wish I should have been in there. I should have been an all-star. I didn't get it this season. Some people think I should have been an all-star a long time ago, but I'm like, it depends on what the criteria is. And I unfortunately don't know everything they're looking at, but I do know in the past, you know, I haven't really had those knockout, drag out games like I did this past week. You know,
I'll tell you, I would speak up more if you didn't make it this year, if your play continues the way it is. Like you have 18, if I'm looking, 18 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and third most passing yards. That's crazy, all things considered. So I haven't been in the long, obviously, but I would really like to see. I mean, if you don't make it, I don't know who's going to in your. So,
we'll see. About every Tuesday. So is this one album that you're just kind of slowly releasing everything, or this is just kind of like a collection of songs?
No, it's just a collection of songs. I have probably 60 to 70 songs in the vault right now, so I'm just picking and choosing.
Wow.
The song I dropped last week is roughly 2 years old. The song I dropped today is like a year and a half, so I got a lot of songs in the vault ready to sprinkle every Tuesday.
All right, well, I can't wait to see and hear what you got. That SFL Nights, though. I mean, the
SFL Action.
SFL Action, man. I was like, who? Yeah. Now I know at the convention it didn't really pan out the way.
Sure.
But when I finally heard it and I saw the video, I was like, oh, look at my boy Pauly. So you didn't know I've been using that.
It's crazy because growing up, I have never been a fan of country. I don't listen to country. It's just not my style. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted to do a country style song just to branch out to every genre possible. And it was awesome to put that song together. I appreciate Cam for putting it. He's played it a bunch of times. I'll just randomly tune into a stream waiting for a game to start, and I not knowing that it's about to play, and then it comes on. I yell over to my roommate. I'm like, we're on.
No, I've actually been playing it. I've actually been playing it as my opening theme now instead of the SFL Nights. I've been playing that too. So just trying to get you out there.
I don't blame you on that. Because we know Matthew won't agree to that either. He was very vocal about the song that I did, the SFL Nights.
I mean, let you have it right in front of your face too.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't care if he's not wrong.
He wasn't.
See, with him, he has, because I make like rap, hip hop, all different types of that type of music, and like pop, which he listens to like classical like no music, just like some music, but just classical things. So his opinion, he has like the logical music theory like opinions, which I don't necessarily have. So his advice on any song is always the best, because I know it's the most unbiased, because he doesn't like this style of music. But I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point.
No, it's true, because you musicians, as I was telling him, you know, musicians can hear certain things. They can hear certain chords, they can hear when things are just a little bit off, or maybe needs a reverb. So I thought it was just interesting that he heard exactly what we both heard as well. You know. So I still use it, you know. I still use it. So anytime. That was the first thing you ever gave me, so of course I'm gonna use it.
Well, I don't really trust it. I wouldn't trust it to a community vote anyway, because like you said, and Eddie said, we could have 300 members, 80 to 100 are really active in here, right? So you're getting most of those votes off the people who talk to certain people daily, and the other people that would possibly be voting or putting a list together of saying, hey, these are the people we want, don't know most of the people.
Or
so they're like, I remember seeing Ashley. I know Mike St. Green. You know, I know all these people, Eddie Gage. You know, I know all these people that you're seeing, or the few names that get dropped in some of these podcasts. You know, like around the SFL. Great podcast, love it. It's just like I'm like listening to NFL radio. He does an amazing job on it. So I was kind of upset when it didn't drop last night. But you know, I hope that continues and doesn't fall off. But like I said, I think the community getting involved would be the wrong answer to it. Keep it the league, and keep it, you know, the owners as kind of like a tiebreaker, or a little bit more input on that, because some of these owners do watch more than just their game, so they do know how other guys are playing, how they play against them. Hey, I had to watch out for this guy this week, and you know, can do some honorable mentions, or say, hey, the guy you've picked, we should maybe replace him with this person.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's the best option.
Yeah. But if we do leave it to the community, I know Ashley's going to be in there more often.
Maybe.
Oh, if that's what it takes, Ashley into the All-Stars.